This is The Herd, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. We are live in Los Angeles on iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. Joy Taylor is joining me for hour number 2 on a Monday. Fred Van Vliet of the Raptors before the end of the hour. Chris Broussard, Steven Jackson. Joy, how are you?
I'm good. Are we gonna hear any Joy was right about the Raptors?
You have loved the baby dinosaurs all year.
I tried to tell you.
Now, do you feel good about the Milwaukee series? Milwaukee's
I don't like the way that if they were playing the way, if the Raptors were playing the way that they played in the series before, then yes. But watching everyone terrified of shooting the basketball, which is required for the winning,
yes,
not so much.
Yeah, I think Milwaukee feels like, listen, Milwaukee's good. It's going to be an interesting series.
I do think they'll have some rust on game 1, Milwaukee.
Yeah, listen, I found Toronto and Philadelphia the craziest series so far in the league. I couldn't figure out 2 games, Philadelphia didn't show up. There was a game Toronto didn't show up. Yesterday, I thought Toronto, 8 minutes in, had it wrapped. And then 28 minutes in, I thought Toronto was in trouble. I couldn't figure the series out. So here we go. We do it every Monday at this time. Calling right, calling wrong. Here we go.
Where Colin was right.
I said all year about Denver. Young teams that are talented, bring it down. Denver, the number 2 seed, could not win a second-round series. Even though they had the best NBA home record, they lost 3 times in the postseason at home. Don't get fooled by talented, hungry, young teams. They tend to win 30 games on effort. And this team, once you get to the playoffs, everybody is playing hard. They were unbeatable at home. Portland beat them twice in Denver. So, nice team, but we said they're too young, they're too green, they're too inexperienced to win multiple series in the playoffs. We got it right with Denver.
Where Colin was wrong.
Friday night, Vegas had it, Houston -8. Vegas gave the dynasty no shot. That is the guttiest, scrappiest, craziest road win in the NBA I have seen in years. I'm rarely left speechless. I was. Steph Curry had no points at half. Katie didn't play, and Boogie didn't play. They had no bench, no size, and it was tied. Iggy had 5 threes. Sean Livingston played his best game of the year. That's the old cliche, the heart of a champion. I sat there at halftime, and I just said, I was texting buddies. I'm like, no Boogie, no KD, and Steph is scoreless, and it's tied? What's going on? What world? Maybe the earth is flat, like Kyrie Irving said. I was wrong on that one.
Where Colin was right.
But Philadelphia, the process is a bunch of hooey. Jimmy Butler was your only reliable player, and he ain't part of the process. You had to trade for him, and the GM that created the process doesn't work in the NBA anymore. He's a consultant in the NFL for a team that finished in 3rd place in their own division last year. I got nothing against Sam Hinkie, but here's what I know. The 2 guys from the process, Embiid and Simmons, they don't work together. They just don't. And I think they're both really talented, but I'm not into the nickname thing. If you want to tank, just call it tanking. That's what you did. You tanked for 6 years and whiffed on about 5 draft picks. Even Joel Embiid after the game was done hearing about the process.
I don't know, game 7, losing a game that way, a lot of things go through your mind, and it sucks.
Where would you say the process is right now? And you just played the most minutes you've ever played in regulation. Are you tired?
I don't give a damn about the process.
There you go. Either do I. I'm over it.
Where Colin was wrong.
I had thought, and I said this 2 years ago, I used to think of Harden and Westbrook as kind of similar players, Harden the better shooter. And I said, James is totally separated from Westbrook, but there are a lot of similarities. They dominate December. They dominate January. They get all the headlines. But late in seasons, they just don't feel the same. They don't feel as reliable. They fizzle out. I don't know. Is James Harden in great shape? He's obviously an NBA player. He's in good shape. But in Game 5, he just disappeared, and Chris Paul was the better guard in Game 6. So, there's these similarities with Westbrook. I still like him more than Westbrook because it's a shooter's league, and I think he is a bizarrely, uniquely talented scorer. But let's be honest. I'm getting a lot of the same narratives here. You got to get out of the second round. I mean, it's once the referees didn't give you all the flipping and flopping and I don't want to hear that he had 35 points. When did he score the 35 points? Late in Game 5, he disappeared.
Where Colin was right.
I said Steph Curry is the least respected great player of my lifetime. And I said that before Friday night. In fact, I said it Wednesday and Thursday. This is Steph's team. It's always been Steph's team. He is not underrated by people in the organization. He's underrated by players. He had 17 points with 4.5 to go and ended up with 33. I know he doesn't fit everybody's stereotype of what the man is and what the alpha dog is, but that guy is now 30-4. The Warriors with Steph are 30-4 when Steph plays and KD doesn't. Again, KD may be the better, quote, player, but Steph's a better pure three-point shooter. He's a better ball handler, and frankly, he's a better leader. Not that KD's a terrible leader, but Steph Curry, as I said before Game 6, is the most underrated great player of my life. Maybe on the outside, but you can't tell me Steve Kerr and Bob Meyer don't understand the value of Steph Curry.
Where Colin was wrong.
I'm going to take a big fat goose egg on the Boston Celtics. About 6 months are wrong on that. I like the coach. I like the cast. I like the closer. And, I usually don't buy into some regular season drama. Players figure it out. I mean, LeBron's dramatic every January. Yeah, they figure it out. These guys didn't figure it out. Just didn't fit. Maybe it's Brad. Maybe it's Kyrie. I was just wrong for months on this. I kept saying, coach, cast, closer. I'm good. But it's not that they lost to Milwaukee. That series after Game 1 wasn't that competitive. It really wasn't. It was a lot of Milwaukee, bigger, stronger, deeper, better bench. Big fat zero sandwich for me on that one.
Where Colin was right.
Said for years, small markets in sports always think the league is against them. And if they lose a game, it's because the league doesn't like us and the league is after us. And Gail Benson, bless her heart, the Saints owner, is still yapping about the Saints' loss that everybody in the world is over and understood was just a bad call. But here she was at a commencement speech this weekend.
Had this happened in another city, it is likely there would have been riots in the streets. As bitterly disappointed as our fans were, our response was the opposite. Rather than riot, our protest turned into another cause for parties. Boycott bowls sprang up throughout the city on Super Bowl Sunday. And our fans' displeasure with the obviously terrible no call was expressed to the NFL by turning out at a historic rate, delivering the lowest Super Bowl rating in the country.
First of all, can I address the riot thing? Green Bay does not feel like a riot city to me.
I'm trying to think of what kind of city would riot over a call like that.
Nobody would. By the way, Los Angeles wouldn't have rioted.
No.
Most of the city didn't watch the game.
Pittsburgh wouldn't.
Nah, come on. Let's. It's time to move on. It was a bad call.
Maybe New England. I don't know. They've had so many wins. It's like, are they going to riot?
This is exactly, small markets wear me out. They think the world's against them. It was a bad call. By the way, you had a chance to stop the Rams after that in overtime. You couldn't. That's on you.
Where Colin was wrong.
I was very cynical all year when LeBron's people kept telling me via texts, Colin, LeBron has handed over the reins to the Lakers. He has no control. And I'd tell Rich Paul, come on, Rich. You can't sell me that. Apparently, LeBron doesn't have any pull because Magic quit and didn't give him a phone call. That's what LeBron said, and I believe him. And Frank Vogel's the head coach. And they gave him a 3-year deal, and Frank Vogel was probably about the 4th, 5th choice. I always felt like, listen, LeBron didn't come out here and not have any say in it. But increasingly, it is absolutely definitively clear that Kurt Rambis and Phil Jackson have more power in that building than LeBron James. Kobe's agent has more power than LeBron James. I was cynical, and I was wrong.
Where Colin was wrong.
Yeah, I have more wrongs than rights this week. That Raptor thing, that was A1. And DeJoy all year was, she just loves Canada. Maybe that's it. But
I mean, Canada's a very nice place.
It's very nice.
Very nice. Very nice people.
I didn't buy into this show all year long, and I got to be honest. It's good for the city. Kawhi's absurd. I mean, let's be honest about Kawhi Leonard. 35 points average. There were times it felt like he was single-handedly beating Philadelphia. And I don't think I'm hyperventilating here. End of the game is just like, stop me. It had a very much an MJ feel to it.
Very much.
Stop me. And nobody could in Philadelphia. And I don't know the Raptors' chances against Milwaukee. That's a tough matchup for anybody. But Kawhi Leonard and Toronto's in one fell swoop, they deserve it. Give me the buzzer beater one more time. Do we have that? Give them love one more time.
It's off to Leonard, defended by Simmons. Is this the dagger? Game! Series! Toronto has won!
I got to be honest. I know it's a weird comparison. We always talk LeBron and Michael. Kawhi's got, if you never saw Michael play live, Kawhi Leonard's got a lot of Michael Jordan, where it's just like, I'm coming down, I'm a forward, I shouldn't be a point guard. Stop me.
And that was a terrible shot. It was falling out of bounds on one leg. It was an impossible shot.
Yeah, between the hand size, his improvisation in the air, his ability to play both ways, his ability to hit shots clutch, his stone cold sort of personality. I know nobody's ever going to compare Kawhi to MJ, but they're built the same. They are wiry, strong, 6'6.5" guys, 6'7" guy for Kawhi. That was great. All right, Chris Broussard is coming up next. He'll be joining us. Fred VanVleet of the Raptors joining us. We are loaded today. 66% of men, you know this, they lose their hair by the age of 35 years old, which is kind of daunting if you're a dude, right? But thanks to science, baldness can retreat. Baldness can be more optional. Forehand